Thank you very much, Anneke, for a very professional speech. Wow, that has been a session. Excellent examples of companies taking leadership in their respective markets with the respective product portfolios, whether in dairy or in oleochemicals or in the retail. You've been so modest, Anneke, not to even mention that you've won an award with the task force in the Netherlands by showing an example within the national initiative there recently. So it's really impressive that the examples that you've all showed us. We've received a couple of questions. Let's start with that. A question for Carrefour from UNITA of Cargill. Joko, can you take this one? Launching CSPO cooking oil is a noble step, but why launch in Indonesia and not in Europe of America? Can you respond to that? Tom.
Okay. Thank you, Ibu Yunita from Cargill. Why launching it in Indonesia? As we have mentioned in our presentation, Indonesia is the second biggest consumer of palm oil and mostly is in the product of cooking oil. And someone has to do it first. Someone has to do it first because one of our objectives is to encourage responsible consumption on this case. And we are sure that if we provide the product, the next step is to make sure that the consumer are aware that the sustainable products are there on the shelves, they can buy it, and if they buy it, they support local production of sustainable palm oil in their own country, in these terms, Indonesia. Why not in Europe? Why not in the United States? Because cooking oil are rarely used in these two continents, and for trademark and the use of palm oil, we use it for other products. For example, in France itself, we now have 44 Carrefour brand products which has already segregated palm oil. And as I mentioned to you before, added to 12 products, Carrefour brand products, which already has trademark on palm oil. So we looked at the marketplace first, based on our survey. Of course, we are sure that Carrefour will not be the only one who will have a RSPO trademark on cooking oil. I'm sure that other players, other producers will follow suit and contribute to the increasing awareness of responsible consumption for Indonesia as the second biggest consumption of palm oil.
Thank you very much. Very clear. Professor Sun, you have received one or two questions as well. Can you read them out and maybe try to answer?
Okay, thank you. I got, I think, 4 questions. The first question is related to the investment of a Chinese company in upstream, such as in Africa, if this in the case, if it's in the case, or if they are going to invest in a foreign country, if they are going to implement an RSPO standard. From the general development, the market development from the demand side, I think certainly the market demand will be increasing, and to 2020, the demand will be roughly doubled. There has been several cases shows that Chinese companies are interested in some areas where the palm oil are suitable to grow. I think they are not so far to decide whether they would like to make the investment now, but I think the possibilities are under the consideration of some of the private-owned companies, and right now I could not say with which plan or schedule they are going to realize. To this point, how they are going to use the international standard, I think Chinese government is very interested in doing business in foreign country in a sustainable way, and the ministry, responsible ministry, is interested so that the Chinese company will develop the plantations or to make investment in any place in the world according to the international standard. It could be possible that China will work out sustainable investment guidelines for this kind of investment if the business opportunity will become feasible. I think in this case we are in contact with the different organizations. If this is the case, I think WWF China will also help them to develop sustainable investment standard guidelines, which could be compatible with the RSPO standard, I think.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the room and the floor. If there are any questions from the floor for the speakers. Here in front, Mr. Chandran has a question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is to Mr. Harold Southhoff. Thank you for a very insightful presentation, as usual. The RSPO brand, Harold, is only beginning to make headway, and its reputation needs to be protected. And coming from a background of a company like BASF, is there any advice that you can offer, or do you think we are doing the right things at the moment?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Chandran. The only thing I can say is that we have applied and received the trademark. So we have it and we intend to use it. We have license for it. So, I mean, we all know it's a development, it's a process, it's a evaluation, is a way forward that we're going, and at this point in time, I can only say that the trademark seems to be sufficient for the use.
Okay. Any other questions from the floor?
I have here.
Yeah. Can you do another question, Professor Sun?
Yeah, I have the next three questions. I'll give a short answer.
There's only time for one.
Yeah. And the next question is, what is the driving factors for Chinese companies to become RSPO members? I think as I presented, I think we would like to really help the companies to develop their sustainable business. I think this is the reason if you want to do the business in another way, in a new way, maybe in the future, I think this is the most companies' motivation to do that. Example is the export business. If the export business in foreign countries, the demand is there, they must do that. Okay. This is the main reason, I think. Another question is about...
Sorry, we don't have time.
Sorry?
Let's stick to one question.
Yeah.
We're running out of time.
One question.
Okay. 1 minute. Yeah.
Okay.
the last question is for Carrefour again. This is a question I received from Jules from Wilmar, and it reads, since the segregation method for sustainable palm oil is difficult and highly costly, does Carrefour have a policy to buy segregation at a higher price than mass balance? Agnes, or you want to take that?
Yeah, I do. So I would say that the first objective for Carrefour at the beginning was to, as a supplier, to buy segregated palm oil. But today, the supply chain was not ready to deliver segregated palm oil. So we use mass balance or green palm certificate as a good interim for the moment. Some of our products that you can find outside got the trademark and is segregated trademark. And what I will say also for Carrefour, according to the segregated issue, is that there is no point or no question about higher costs. In fact, the objective of Carrefour is to respect the expectation of our customer. Our customer is really sensitive to all environmental friendly products. And for example, like in France, we have a large range of organic products. And we develop this range on product because it's the expectation of our customer. And today, Carrefour is a leader in the organic product in France. So it's just that we respect the customer expectation and we do the product that they want.
Thank you very much. And it's a very good sentence to also close this session with. I think to summarize, there have been some keywords in Professor Sun's speech about China, about selecting the right partners, taking leadership, and having a long-term view. And I think these keywords have been reflected in the presentations of Friesland Campina and Carrefour and BASF. It's not about costs, it's about commitment, it's about taking leadership, and if you view from that point, and if sustainability strategies do reflect expectations of the markets, then there's no issue such as costs. It's only being rewarded by the market for taking leadership. With that note, I'd like to close the session.
Thank you very much, Sessions Chair.